TED Talk slow version. There's some medical news that absolutely nobody is prepared to hear. I certainly wasn't. It was 3 years ago that I got a call in my office with the test results of a recent scan. I was 35 and finally living the life I wanted. I married my high school sweetheart and had finally got pregnant after years of infertility. And then suddenly we had a perfect 1-year-old boy, dinosaur, depending on his mood. And having a jet suits me perfectly. I had gotten the first job I applied for academia, land for 1,000 crochet streams. And there was working with my dream job with my little baby and the man I had imported from Canada. But a few months before, I started feeling pain in my stomach and had gone to every expert to find out why. No one could tell me. And then, out of the blue, some physician's assistants called me at work to tell me that I had stage IV cancer and I was going to need to come to the hospital right away. And all I could think of to say was, "But I have a son. I can't end. This world can't end. It has just begun." And then I called my husband and he rushes to find me and I says all true things that I have known. I said, "I have loved you forever. I have loved you forever. I am so sorry. Please take care of my son." And then as I began with the walk to hospital, it closed my mind for the first time. Oh, how ironic. I had just written a book called Blessed. I'm a historian and an expert in idea that good things happen to good people. I researched a form of Christian nicknames the prosperity gospel for its very bold promise that God wants you to prosper. I never considered myself a follower of the prosperity gospel. I was simply an observer. The prosperity gospel believes that God wants to reward you if you have the right kind of faith. If you're good and faithful, God will give you healthy and wealth and boundless happiness. Life is just like greenery. If you're good things will always come back to you. Think positively, speak positively. Nothing is impossible if you believe. I got interested in this very American theology when I was 18 or so, and by 25, I was traveling the country interviewing its celebrities. I spent decades talking to teleologists with spiritual guarantees for divine money. I interviewed countless Methodist pastors with spectacular hair about how they live their best life now. I visited with people in hospital waiting rooms and police officers. I have held with people in wheelchairs planning to be cured. I earned my reputations as destroyer of family vacations for always insisting on being dropped off at the fanciest manufacturing town. If there was a river running through this sanctuary, an eagle flying freely in the auditorium, or an enormous bending golden globe, I was there. When I first started studying this, the whole idea of being blessed wasn't what it is today. It was not, like it is now, an entire line of blessed home goods. It was not yet a flood of hashtag blesses, Venice's art like complaints and t-shirts and near wall art. I had no idea that blessed would become one of the most common cultural cliches, one of the most used hashtags on Instagram to celebrate bury their bikini shots, as is to say, I am so blessed. Thank you, Jesus, for this body. I had not yet fully gasped for the way the prosperity gospel has become the great civil religion, offering another transcendence account of the core of the American dream. Rather than worship the founding of America itself, the prosperity gospel worships Americans. It defines as ritualize their hungers, their hard work, and moral fiber. Americans believe in gossip of optimism, and they are their own proof. But despite telling myself, I'm just studying this stuff, I'm nothing like them. When I got my diagnosis, I suddenly understand how deeply invested I was in my own Horatian algebra theology. If you live in this culture, whether you are religious or not, it is extremely difficult to avoid falling into the trap of believing that virtue and success go hand in hand. The more I stared down my diagnosis, the more I recognized that I had my own quiet version of the idea that good things happen to good people. Aren't I good? Aren't I better somehow? I have committed 0 homicides to date. So what is happening to me? I wanted God to make me good and to reward my faith with just a few shining words along the way. Okay, like shining words. I believed that hardship were only detours on what I was certain would be my long, long life. As is the case with many of us, it's a mindset that serves me well. The gospel of success drove me to achieve, to dream big, to abandon fear. It was a mindset that served me well until it didn't, until I was confronted with something I couldn't manage my way out of, until I found myself saying into the phone, "But I have a son," because it was all I could think of to say. That was the most difficult moment to accept. The phone call, the walk to hospital, when I realized that my own personal prosperity gossip has failed to me. Anything I thought was good or special about me could not save me. My hard work, my personality, my humor, my perspective. I had to face the fact that my life is filled with people, and so is everyone else's. It is a hard thought to accept that we are all a breath away from a problem that could just destroy something irreplaceable or alter our lives completely. We know that in life there are before and afters. I am asked all the time to say that I would never go back or that I gained so much in perspective. And I tell them no. Before, was better. A few months after I got sick, I wrote about this and I sent it off to an editor at the New York Times. In retrospect, taking one of the most vulnerable moments of your life and turning it open is not an amazing way to feel less vulnerable. I got thousands of letters and emails. I still got them every day. I think it is because of the questions I asked. I asked, how do you live without quite so many reasons for the bad things that happen? I asked, would it be better to live without rigid formulas for why people deserve what they get? And what was so funny and what so terrible was, of course, I thought I'd ask people to simmer down on needing an explanation for the bad thing that happens, so what the thousands of readers do? Yes, they wrote to defend the idea that there had to be a reason for what happens to me, and they really want me to understand the reason. People want me to reassure them that my cancer is all part of the plan. A few letters even suggest it was God's plan that I get cancer, so I help people by writing about it. People are suddenly it is a test of my character or a proof of something terrible I've done. They want me to know without a doubt that there is a hidden logic to this seeming chaos. They tell my husband, while I'm still in the hospital, that everything happened for a reason, and that's semi-ironic that he said, I'd love to hear it. I would love to hear the reason my wife is dying. And I get it. We all want reasons. We want formulas to predict whether your hard work will pay off, whether our love and support will always make our partners happy and our kids love us. We want to live in a world in which not one ounce of our hard work or our pain or our deepest hopes will be for nothing. We want to live in a world in which nothing is lost. But what I have learned in living with stage 4 cancer is that there is no easy correlation between how hard I try and the length of my life. In the last 3 years, I've experienced more pain and trauma than I ever thought I could survive. I realized the other day that I have so many abdominal surgeries that I own my 50 belly button, and this last one is my least favorite. But at the same time, I've experienced love. So much love. Love I found hard to explain. The other day, I was reading the findings of the Near-Death Experience Research Foundation, and yes, there is such a thing. People are interviewed about their rushes with death, all kinds of circumstances, car accidents, labor and delivery, suicides, and many have reported the same odd thing: love. I'm sure I wouldn't ignore it if it hasn't reminds me of something I have experienced, something I felt uncomfortable telling anyone. That when I was sure that I was going to die, I didn't feel angry. I felt loved. It was one of the most surreal things I have experienced. In a time in which I should have felt abandoned by God, I was not reduced to ashes. I felt like I was floating on the left and players of all of those who hover around me like worker bees, bring me notes and socks and flowers and quilts embroidered with words of encouragement. But when they sat beside me, my hand in their hands, my own suffering began to feel like it had revealed to me the suffering of others. I was entering a world of people just like me. People stumbling around in the debris of dreams they thought they were entitled to, the plans they didn't realize they had made. I was feeling of being more connected somehow with other people experiencing the same situation, and that feeling stayed with me for months. In fact, I'd grown so accustomed to it that I started to panic the prospect of losing it. So I began to ask friends, theologians, historians, nuns I liked, what am I not gonna do when loving feeling is gone? And it's know exactly what I was talking about because they had their experience in themselves or they read about it in great works of Christian theology, and they said, yeah, it'll go. The feelings will go, and there will be no formula for how to get it back. But they are offering me this little piece of reassurance, and I clung to it. They said, when the feeling received like the tides, they will leave an imprint. They do, and it is not proof of anything. And it's nothing to boast about, it was just a gift. So I can respond to the thousands of emails I get with my own 5-step plans to divine health and magical floating feelings. I see that role. It's jointly by events that are wonderful and terrible, gorgeous and tragic. I can't reconcile the contradiction, except that I'm beginning to believe that these opposites do not cancel each other out. Life is so beautiful, and life is so hard. Today, I am doing quite well. The immunotherapy drug appeared to working, and we are watching and waiting with the scans. I hope I will live a long time. I hope I will live long enough to embrace my son and to watch my husband lose his beautiful hair. And I think I might. But I'm learning to live and to love without counting the cost, without reasons and assurances that nothing will be lost. Life will break your heart, and life may take everything you have and everything you hope for. But there is one kind of prosperity gospel that I believe in. I believe that in the darkness, even there will be beauty and there will be love, and every now and then it will feel like more than enough. Thank you.